Have you ever heard rap music?
Does Sir Mix-a-Lot like booty?
Listen to this. Actual rap lyrics. Life ain't nothing but gritches and money. Only they don't say gritches. They say a certain word that rhymes with it that starts with a B.
So we've got our Dan Slott correspondent live in California. Aaron Sparrow, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Wes. Yes, it's another fantastic day where Dan Slott has said something dumb on Twitter, and we are here to cover it in great detail.
So you're saying Dan Slott made an ass of himself again?
I'm saying that he can't stop. It's embarrassing. It's absolutely cringy. Every time we've said it before, but he just needs to not be on social media. It's not his forum. It does him no favors. It does most people no favors. Most comic creators are done no favors by Twitter and Facebook and whatnot. But Dan seems to just be the gift that keeps on giving when it comes to making making statements that we can produce content about.
It's crazy. I feel like he's inspired by Jerry Conway, who's in the middle of a kind of a weird Twitter breakdown. Maybe he's on Facebook. He's on social media somewhere saying that, all manga is misogynistic and needs to be challenged and all these things. And I guess Dan Slott looked in the mirror and was like, well, maybe you could see one of my story arcs or one of my plot threads as being problematic. So he decided to apologize for his, I don't know, Spidey pheromones.
Maybe he got wind. Maybe he got wind that the Whisper Network was talking about it, that he was going to be targeting, and he was going to be targeted, and this is him getting out in front of it. Who knows the way the comic industry runs?
Yes. So he apologized for his storyline being problematic, where basically Silk could not say no to Peter because of his smell.
But Peter also couldn't say no to Silk.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very. It was very, very much established within the parameters of the story that it was consensual, but it was highly motivated by pheromones. They were attracted to each other by pheromones, but they both still were consenting individuals. So I don't really see what Dan Slott is apologizing for in that sense. What he should be apologizing for is just writing a creepy story to begin with. I mean, that's a really creepy kind of thing to put two characters through, and it just feels like maybe Dan Slott needs to be sentenced to horny jail for a little while.
He needs to go to the horny jail. No cats or nothing. You sit in the corner for a while and think about what you did, Dan Slott. But he decided to come out and apologize. My storyline was problematic. Well, two consenting adults having relations. Don't know that's the most problematic thing in the world, but how you got him there certainly was creepy. So
yeah, definitely creepy.
You apologize for the wrong thing, maybe.
And I think I think he lives in a world where, on some level at least, he is aware that the audience that he's trying to appeal to with these constant statements and things that he's putting out, I think he knows how unforgiving that audience is. So he's just trying to get out in front of something. The problem is that he's making the mistake that everybody makes when they've tried to appeal to this audience that is just never satisfied and who is always looking for somebody to destroy. And that's that there is no forgiveness. There is no getting out in front of it. And as soon as you apologize, as soon as you kneel down and grovel before them, all that you've done is given them a good angle to remove your head.
Yeah, essentially just put a target on his back. Like, hey, guys, did you forget about this weird, creepy thing that I did? From a certain point of view, you could probably attack me with it. And yes, they will not be forgiving Dan Slott.
No, absolutely not. He is a straight white male who's.
Does he realize he himself is probably problematic in a lot of people's eyes?
He absolutely does not. I think we've discussed before. It doesn't seem like self-awareness is his greatest trait.
I think he's problematic because he's a shitty writer.
I wouldn't go as far as to say that I think that Dan is a shitty writer. I think that Dan is a lazy writer. And I think that his work ethic bears that out. I think that he's putting in minimal effort. And, maybe it's the fact that he's been doing it for so long. Maybe he's burnt out. Maybe he just, doesn't enjoy it as much anymore. He certainly seems to enjoy being on Twitter and starting controversies and getting into fights with people more than he enjoys writing comic books. So unfortunately, you don't get paid for that. So you can't afford your apartment. But I'd like to think that if Dan really took some time to kind of reflect on himself and his career and the direction that he's going and the current amount of effort that he puts into his writing, I'd like to think that he could pull up and maybe write something really good. Really kind of rediscover what made him love comics in the first place. But I feel like it's one of those things where you do it for so long and you're just so jaded and you're in your little echo chamber. You block everybody who disagrees with you, and I think that just doesn't help you. When it comes to writing, or when it comes to just interacting with people in general.
Yeah, I don't even understand the apology. You wrote a story. Like said, it's an old story.
Yeah, but we've found out that it doesn't matter how old something is. It doesn't matter how much you've evolved or where you've come from. What you said 20 years ago or how you felt about something 20 years ago is exactly where you are today. Whether or not you've grown and you've learned new things and you've changed your mind, that doesn't exist in the world of cancel culture. You have to have been born perfect, as of course we have discovered that every male feminist and every person that breaks out the pitchforks as soon as somebody says something that they don't like, we've all discovered how just absolutely pure they have been from the very beginning. Never.
Yeah, we don't have to restart the clock every week on those guys.
Yeah, no sins on their record. They are clean.
It's crazy. I ascribe to the never apologize. I'll apologize to my wife.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I would apologize to Aaron Sparrow behind the scenes. I would never do it publicly, because you are just painting a target on your chest that says I'm a mark and come get me.
Yeah,
I'm ready to eat it.
I've always maintained that I'll apologize if I am convinced that I was being an asshole or that I was out of line. I'll certainly apologize, but I won't apologize just because you didn't like something that I said, or you didn't get the joke, or those apologies are never coming. It's just going to be, well, you didn't like it. I guess that's that. You don't have to like it. Fiction is.
That's the level of apology I'll give publicly.
Mm-hmm.
So you took it the way I didn't intend it to. Well, hopefully next time I present the information better, or my point of view or the joke better.
Yeah, or you just develop your sense of humor, and then next time you get the joke. I had somebody call me a shithead this week on Twitter because I made a joke that they didn't like. I insulted. I made a joke about anti-maskers and the people who freak out about anti-maskers, and they did not take kindly to that. And it's just like, oh, well, I'm sorry I insulted your religion. I'll say a few Hail Faucis and hopefully I'm forgiven.
Yeah, you're not allowed to make jokes about that stuff. People take it really seriously.
You can take all kinds of things seriously. And the more seriously people take things, the more I'm going to joke about them, because that's what I find funny. I find funny that we get so caught up in these things, and that we get so dogmatic, and I'm going to make fun of both sides of any kind of like dogmatic view. So if you don't like it, that's why it says in my Twitter bio, I'm here to mock your sacred cows. Get over it, or you don't have to follow me. You don't have to follow me.
If you don't like Aaron Sparrow's politics, don't follow his Twitter. If you don't like his sense of humor, don't follow his Twitter.
That's right. And and then a little while later, I'm like, well, I don't have any followers. What?
No one likes your sense of humor.
Twitter industry.
Yeah, I don't think this is probably going to work out the way that that Mr. Slott believes it probably is. I think he's probably trying to get some type of cover on this. More than likely, when it's his time, he's going to get got, because like we mentioned earlier, he is problematic. He's a straight white male in comic books.
Yeah, and it doesn't. He should have never invented Cindy Moon to begin with. That should have been an Asian creator that called C.B. Cebulski a racist should have invented that character. But you know what? They didn't. So what are you going to do?
I don't know, Aaron. Is this going to keep you in the future? Are you not going to have two anthropomorphic ducks, with pheromones that just can't keep their hands off each other? Is this going to keep you out of that wading into those waters?
One of the nice things about writing stuff that's for all ages appropriate is that you avoid any kind of that, but any kind of pitfalls like that, getting yourself in trouble. But yeah, that's not a story that I would write anyway. It feels creepy. Like, even if you were like sitting around you're brainstorming and that idea occurs to you, like, oh, what if the pheromones make them really attracted to each other and they just can't stop banging? And then you laugh about it and you move on. You're like, oh, that's dumb. You don't put it in the book.
So when do you think he's going to apologize for Iron Man 2020? That's the apology I want, because I read the entire event and it was so bad. And he wasted some perfectly good art from Pete Woods. Like, Pete Woods put in the effort, and Dan Slott absolutely did not.
Well, let me tell you something.
Let's get that apology going.
Did he write Iron Man 2020? Because I just remember him writing a really long Andy Bang limited series. That was what I was invested in, was the Asian guy whose last name was Bang, who was banging Iron Man's mom. That's where I was invested.
Is that the apology you want?
That's the apology I want.
When's he going to apologize to Christos Gage for having to finish all his fucking stories?
When's he going to apologize to Joe Caramaga for having to sit and wait to letter his book at the last minute? These are the apologies that should be made.
Does this man, did he not see the torment and agony he was putting Doug Ernst through on his YouTube channel, having to review all of his Spider-Man books before it finally got good for the last damn story arc? Hail Fauci, come on!
It's like, I just want the Dan Slott trailer to open like the Endgame, the first Endgame teaser, where it's just him going, "I've got a lot of apologies to make."
But hey, at least he's starting it. He's on the apology tour. Hopefully, we'll get some apologies for the bad comic books that he's written, the good art that he's wasted, and Christos Gage not getting top billing on a lot of comic books he probably wrote the majority of.
Probably did the heavy lifting, yeah. And Christos Gage is one of those guys that, I just have to wonder how invested are you in this writer that's not delivering on time and is not finishing his scripts, to where you have to bring in a better writer to act as his understudy. I just don't get that. As an editor, I'd be like, okay, look, you're not finishing these books, and I'm just gonna. Well, can we bring in Christos Gage to finish my scripts? I'm gonna bring in Christos Gage, but he's just gonna write the book.
He's gonna finish your book.
Yeah, it's like he's gonna. I'm gonna give him the work, because he's clearly the one that's more professional and more talented and is gonna deliver.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know why Dan keeps putting himself in the headlines like this. He should probably just buckle down. It sounds like he had a really cool reveal in the last issue of Fantastic Four. Unfortunately, I checked out of that, quite a while ago. I don't think I'm going to jump in right now, especially after reading Empire and Iron Man 2020. They just weren't very entertaining, but the guy has, as you mentioned earlier, that last story arc on Amazing Spider-Man, like the Red Goblin story, was really good. People really enjoyed it. It just so happens to coincide with a couple of months of radio silence on social media when he was actually able to go out and put a good story out.
And I feel like that's to his benefit. I feel if he could just get over the attention that everybody needs from social media. It seems like these creators just want attention, even if it's negative attention. They're excited to get it. And I don't understand it. I mean, just knuckle down, do good books, and then accept the praise that you get when you write an entertaining story. That's all the attention that you need.
And if you find out you're on the Whisper Network, this is what you do. You just say what you did and say, "I'm not apologizing for it. I did nothing wrong."
Yeah, it's come to my attention that there's some back channel, plans to make a big deal out of this. And let me just get out in front of it and say, if you don't like it, too bad. I wrote what I wrote.
Yeah, you got to stand by your work at some point. I imagine we all regret certain things that were published with our names on it. I have videos, and I'm like, man, that was not my best work. Or I wish I had a better angle on it there. I see it differently now than I did then. But you kind of leave them up. I'm sure there's a few issues of comics that either you took from Tokyo Pop for the American audience that you wish you tweaked a little bit different, or maybe a couple issues of Darkwing Duck that if you had more time, or the hindsight of 2020, you could have made a better story or a better choice here and there. But it's fucking published. You got to roll with it.
Yeah, at some point you just have to let go of the work and let it be what it is. I mean, if we didn't have deadlines, we would just tinker with things forever and nothing would ever come out. Because you're always going, I could make that a little better. I could tweak this a little more. You'd be George Lucasing, where you go back in, you re-release it, and you're like, I always wanted to have dewbacks in this scene, so now I've got a bunch of CGI lizards walking around. At some point, it just has to be what it is. And I say this as a guy who did the Definitively Dangerous edition and retweaked a lot of things that we did. But that was all because vision of the book never got released initially from Boom. It was all overwritten by.
It was the Snyder Cut. You were the original Snyder Cut.
Yeah, absolutely, I was, and so we got to put out our version of that work. Now, if it was reprinted again, there's a couple little tweaks I would make. Just like I would remove that sound effect, and I would fix this error that we missed. Some little things like that. But for the most part, I'm pretty proud of that work, and I think it stands. It stands on its own, and as is.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Steve Guttenberg movies lately, right? Like Police Academy 2, Short Circuit.
Salute the Goot.
Listen, man, if that guy had apologized to everything that could be considered offensive nowadays, he'd never stop apologizing. You just got to let it be there.
Yeah. I'll tell you a good Steve Guttenberg movie to go watch. Maybe it's not in the catalog of that you're going through, but he did a movie called Don't Tell Her It's Me, where his sister, who writes romance novels, turns him into like the romance novel character to romance Jamie Gertz, and there's some pretty amusing moments in it. He is Lobo. He walks alone. He needs no ones.
It's better than Cocoon?
Oh, I think so.
Whoa, that's high praise, man. Cocoon was great.
It's a very different movie than Cocoon.
All right. Well, listen, if you don't know who Steve Guttenberg is, go to your Netflix, put his name in there, and enjoy. That's all I'm saying. The man was a genius.
From, the MTV Music Awards, where I think there was Michael Myers was hosting, and they did a parody of the opening of Scream. So it's like the scene from Scream, but he's doing the voice of the killer on the phone and said, redubbing it. And he's like, instead of saying, what's your favorite horror movie? He says, do you like Steve Guttenberg movies? What's your favorite Steve Guttenberg movie? And then Drew Barrymore's like, Halloween. And he's like, that's not a Steve Guttenberg. Do you even know who Steve Guttenberg is? It's pretty great.
It's crazy. He was on top of the world there for a while. Hopefully he gets the Michael Keaton comeback. You know what I mean?
Do you think he wants to come on? Let's do the Goot stream.
If Steve Guttenberg wants to come on the stream, we will stream Steve Guttenberg. I've got questions. I love the Police Academy movies. They were great until he was gone.
I've heard so many things about him, about like how he got into the business and that I don't know if it's true. There's this whole legend of him, like getting onto the lot and finding a utility closet that had like a phone extension and putting a phone in there, and then just being on the lot and acting like it was his office and just calling people and being like he was an agent, going, hey, have you heard of this Gutenberg kid? It's pretty good. I don't know if any of that's true.
He's like the original Paul Rudd. He's the straight guy in the comedy that you kind of liked.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite as likable as Paul Rudd, because he's like the most likable person in the world, but he was up there.
Yeah, no, he's definitely up there. I would, I'd pay to see a Steve Guttenberg, Paul Rudd team up movie.
Oh man, yeah, as his dad or something.
Yeah, I think he'd pull that off. I even watched Dancing with the Stars when Steve Guttenberg was on it because I was like, I want to see how Guttenberg's doing.
Man, how did he not win?
I don't know. How did this turn into the Gutenberg stream? That's what I want.
I don't know, but I'm not going back because the Police Academy is great. Oh, it's because of all the movies he made in the 80s that if you had to go apologize for everything that could be problematic, he'd never be able to shut up. He would just be saying, I'm sorry over and over on repeat forever.
I just like that we started out talking about, Dan Slott's latest Twitter breakdown, and we segued into a more interesting topic of Steve Guttenberg's career.
Absolutely. So this is fun, Aaron. We covered it, and I don't think Dan Slott's going to get exactly what he wanted out of that apology. Probably didn't do anything wrong, other than writing a creepy story. But hey, there's plenty of creepy stories out there. You ain't got to apologize for that stuff. It's already published.
Dan Slott doesn't have to apologize for that story being creepy until we get Straczynski's apology for Gwen Stacy sleeping with Norman Osborn.
Yeah, or an apology for Avengers 200.
Or you know what? An apology for the issue of Batman Adventures where they reveal that Bruce slept with Barbara.
Or the Killing Joke animated movie where he's essentially raped on a roof.
Oh, we should just that entire that entire movie should be apologized. Yeah, there's a lot of apologies that are owed. But,
yeah,
Dan,
don't do it.
Your Silk Spider-Man story, that's not even going to crack the top 10.
Nah, yeah, right. So, all right, we're going to say goodbye to the Dan Slott correspondent. He'll be back soon to talk about whatever Dan Slott did this week or next week.